China launched a massive military exercise, and it's bad news for Taiwan. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. World War III is looming ever closer, and it's all thanks to our old friends, the Chinese Communist Party. Last week, the CCP launched the largest military drills around Taiwan that it has ever conducted as punishment for an unspeakable provocation: Taiwan's inauguration of a new duly elected president. Democracy, such a troublemaker. How dare the Taiwanese people elect a leader who stands against the true voice of the people, the CCP? The drills simulate a massive attack on Taiwan with rocket launch systems, fighter jets, bombers, helicopters, and naval warships. In fact, the only thing they were lacking was subtlety. The military drills were part of an operation known as Joint Sword 2024A, which is a not-so-subtle threat to Taiwan that there will be more to come. As many as 25, given how the alphabet works. Indeed, my favorite Chinese state-run media, the Global Times, says that if Taiwan independent secessionist forces insist on making provocations, there will be following drills such as Joint Sword 2024B, C, and D. Yep, they're threatening them with letters. This is like the darkest episode of Sesame Street of all time. But let's take a minute and look at things from the CCP's perspective. All China wants is peace. Just look at the military posters they came up with. And if peace requires preemptively launching missiles at Taiwanese cities full of innocent civilians, then so be it. These drills are more than just a political message to Taiwan and the rest of the world, though. The idea is to push the boundaries of just how far China can go without repercussions by performing, as the Global Times calls it, normalized cross-straits exercises that form a new normal. And of course, the drills also test the PLA's military readiness to swoop in for the kill. Unlike China's August 2022 military exercises, which happened not long after then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, this time there were no reported live missile launches. But don't be fooled, these are still seriously large-scale drills. In fact, according to Chinese state-run media Xinhua, the PLA's latest drills surrounding Taiwan were the largest in scale to date. Well, the largest to date so far. You never know, they may take it all the way to Joint Sword 2024. Now I know my ABCs, next time won't you sing with me? Certainly the drills did push some new boundaries. Here you can see in gray where the August 2022 drills were held. In red are the areas for this year's drills, which cover even more water. The idea is to surround Taiwan in just the right way, so that they can cut off access to the island both by sea and air, as this air route shows, put pressure on Western military centers on the eastern side, like the Taiwan Air Force Base in Hualien, and squeeze the western side islands closest to the Chinese mainland, Jinmen, Matsu, Wuqiu, and Dongying. Taiwan isn't all that large, but it's still a big job, especially considering Taiwan has some pretty significant friends. But the PLA doesn't have to do it alone. Lucky for them, they got the Chinese Coast Guard to help. Because sailing out to attack in the open ocean is what Coast Guards do best. It's in the name. The Chinese Coast Guard has been making the news lately by entering restricted waters near Taiwan's frontline islands on multiple occasions. They've even gone so far as to board a Taiwanese tour boat. This is all part of China's gray zone warfare. The idea is to legitimize China's claims over Taiwanese territory by using law enforcement, although they're using law enforcement in the loosest sense of the word. The war zone points out that Chinese Coast Guard ships were seen operating together with Type 022 missile boats. Police, military, what's the difference really? This type of gray zone warfare is the same tactic China's using in the South China Sea to bully neighbors like the Philippines, including attacking Filipino fishing boats with water cannons. Jinmen and Matsu Islands, which are part of Taiwan but located very close to mainland China, have plenty of experience with these tactics. But according to Chinese state-run media, this year's military drills were the first time Chinese Coast Guard vessels entered waters near Wuqiu and Dongying Islands. Of course, all the frontline islands, including Wuqiu and Dongying, have Taiwanese military present to keep an eye on Chinese forces, for exactly this reason. In fact, Wuqiu was the very first target China attacked back in the 1996 missile crisis. These frontline islands get in the way of a Chinese amphibious invasion of Taiwan, especially given how U.S. Special Forces are training Taiwanese forces there. So it makes sense that China's training to be able to conquer them. Now, the Joint Sword 2024 drills were unusually short. They took place on just Thursday and Friday last week. The thing is, though, the shortness of the drills might actually be a power move. Former U.S. Pacific Fleet Intelligence Director Captain Jim Fennell, a friend of China Uncensored whom we've had on the show, points out that the military exercises prove the PLA is fulfilling their stated goal of being able to conduct a short, sharp war. In other words, an intense conflict that would avoid a protracted war like what Russia's facing with Ukraine. That war's like a trip to Target. You think you'll be in and out, but you won't. You won't. Fennell also points out that the 2024 exercises are much closer to Taiwan's main island compared to last year's military exercises. This goes back to the CCP's goal of normalizing the PLA's presence in the area. Getting closer means the PLA can move that much further without retaliation in the event of an actual invasion, because no one will know at first that it's not a drill. After all, the Taiwanese military knows the PLA forces are there. They can see them, as posted here on X, but they don't want to be the first ones to fire. Meanwhile, China is probing for the most optimal ways to invade and blockade Taiwan from all angles. If it feels like it can, then it will actually go through with it. China will not renounce the use of force in Taiwan. During the drills, China's military even used civilian cargo ships. That's why Captain Fennell calls on the U.S. to do more to deter a Taiwan invasion. Although the U.S. has taken some steps to fight back against China, he says more needs to be done, and calls for deploying not one, but at least 2 aircraft carrier strike groups in the region. Or else this won't be a simulation. Now, China Uncensored relies on support from fans like you on the crowdfunding website patreon.com/China Uncensored. All it takes is $1 or more an episode. I make about 16 episodes a month, but if that's too much for you, you can set a monthly limit so you can ensure I can keep uncensoring China for even $1 a month. And as a thank you to everyone who gives on Patreon, I'll respond to one of your questions or comments at the end of these episodes. Today's comes from Arnold McCoy. Thank you for your work. I've been watching you for a while, but this episode pushed me to subscribe and support you financially. I studied China 20 years ago when I was active duty with a higher than top secret clearance. Your work gives voice to the concerns I had back then. Keep it up. Silence equals submission. We will never be silent. Carry on. Wow, thank you so much for subscribing and joining Patreon, Arnold. Just so everyone watching knows, Arnold is responding to this recent episode about what would happen to Taiwan if China did successfully conquer it. TLDR, not good things. I'll leave a link below. But yeah, Arnold, I've heard from so many people in the military from back then who are all saying the things I've been saying about China now, but no one listened to them. It was just not what the US government wanted to hear back then. The good news is I've seen how much things have changed over the last 10 or so years. So many more people are aware of the threat of the CCP, and the US government has been following along. And that's only been possible because of people like you, Arnold, and people like the rest of you watching, who want to know what's going on and refuse to be silent. So thank you again for your support, Arnold. And thank you for watching. Head over to Patreon by clicking that orange button. And if you didn't know, I also talk about news, politics, and philosophy through the lens of gaming on my new show, Deep Thoughts While Gaming. The latest is about why people who know the least know it the loudest, according to Halo Infinite. Click here and let me know what you think. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.